This week, the Berry redevelopment and improve your game with sports science. Coming to you from Edwardstown Bowling Club.
Well, here we are, 2016 Bowls Exposed. We're here live from the Edwardstown Bowling Club. Joined by old sparring partner Jess Alvaro.
Yeah, it's
Jess, how are you?
It's great to be back. I'm good.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year to everybody as well.
Absolutely. And also, welcome to Bowls Exposed, Michael Allen.
Thank you, TJ. Thank you, Jess. Pleasure to be here, exposing my bowls with you.
Well done, mate. Absolutely brilliant. What a lead in. The first words on Bowls Exposed, and he's gone provocative straight away.
That's what I mean.
Hey, what an episode we've got lined up for you today. We've interviewed David Newell, Professor of Medical Education here at Flinders University. He's got some strong views on sports science and how it can aid our game. We've got Tony Wenham from the Edwardstown Bowling Club. We're going to talk about the exciting stuff that's been happening here at Edwardstown over the next couple of years. I think they've got some great plans. And also, we've done a feature from the Berry Bowling Club, Des Button. And they've got a major redevelopment also. So a bit of work being done around our clubs. So stay tuned, and a great episode coming.
In 2016, why not promote your club on Bowls Exposed? Our team will be heading far and wide to bring your news to the world of lawn bowls. So contact us now and we'll be seeing you in 2016.
Well, 2016, what a year we've got to look forward to.
I can't wait.
It's a lot going on around the game. The weather's been fantastic. The greens are rolling really well.
They are.
And Jess, look, there's a lot of things happening out and about, and season's starting around other parts of the country at the moment too.
Yes, Queensland Premier League's just started this gone weekend, which is exciting for them. I know that they do a couple of rounds on each weekend. They do a nice quick season. So, yeah, New South Wales.
New South Wales just coming out of all their competitions over the Christmas break, all their big tournaments and stuff. So their season starts in March, so they're getting fired up for that. It's happening everywhere.
Yes.
Yep, and of course, here in lonely old Adelaide, we've got bowls nearly every day of the week. I think bar Monday, picking up a few games on Sunday. So
the only reason you can't get on Monday is because the greenkeepers are closing their greens. They just need a day off. So if it wasn't for that, we'd still be out there.
Absolutely. We've actually had been out and about and around the countryside, catching up with different people, and I believe, Jess, that the crew went and had a visit somewhere in Riverland.
They did. They went to the Berry to have a look at the Berry redevelopment. So why don't we have a look at that now?
We're here chatting with Jenny, Des and Jim to tell us all about these amazing developments. So guys, this is pretty incredible.
Well, it certainly is, and it's been a long time coming. It's about 7.5 years since the council first approached us about moving over here, and 7.5 years later we're almost there. As you can see behind us, most of the playing surfaces down, a few ditches, a bit of work in the surrounds and in the club rooms, and we're there. Look, it creates a venue that is, we believe, world class to that standard. It's unique not only to the Riverland, but we believe the state. There's nothing else like it around that we know of. Certainly with a roof and a canopy like this over 2 greens, like this canopy is something like 88 metres by 48, and all weather, beautiful.
So Jenny, has there been some feedback from the members about the change?
Well, initially we asked the members about having a cover over the green. There was some people who were a little bit unsure about whether that would be a good move. I think once they all get here, it will be as though it's never been an issue.
And do you have any feedback on from the players about changing the type of green?
No, that was probably the most readily accepted decision made by the members of the club, to go to the carpet synthetic green.
So Chris, tell us about your job here in this part of this development.
Yeah, we're just out here on behalf of Berry's Bowling Systems, installing the new synthetic bowling greens, the new needle punch and surrounds, and
And how's the response been so far from players?
Yeah, we've done a few around the country. It seems you get mixed. Some people like their grass, some people like their carpet, but for the carpet, I reckon, this is pretty good.
What's involved in maintaining the synthetic?
Not much. Leaf blower. We supply vacuums and a sweeper. Yeah, it's not much at all really, and a bit of water every now and then just to keep the the base moist underneath, and yeah, just like vacuum in your house, really.
Yeah. So with this amazing venue, have we got some tournaments coming up?
Well, we'll have our normal carnivals. There'll be a big one in May and again in September. The Riverland run a competition for the Audrey Hefford Ladies 2-Bowl Triples, which is shared around the Riverland. For the first time this year, it will be held at Berry. So that will be quite exciting for us.
Jack Attack will be basically starting about the third week of January and running for 4 weeks. Basically in two sections, one for the experienced bowlers and one for the night owls. And that way we'll get, I think, a lot of the newer bowlers or potential bowlers involved in the club straight away.
The question on our lips and other people watching this is how much was invested into this?
The bowling club invested close on $400,000 into it, and if you're trying to build the canopy today, you wouldn't get much change out of that.
And will you be open for social functions and that sort of thing?
Well, that's the aim of having a full commercial kitchen in part of the club rooms. Is that it is open for social functions. Will be available through arrangements with the club. But it's basically a joint job between the council and the bowling club, and it shows that if community clubs can work with their councils, what can be achieved.
24/7.
Yep.
24/7, does that mean we might see some midnight owls?
Yeah, no
Yes,
worries.
Well, that's highly possible, and with temperatures and that going the way they're going, alternatives have got to be looked at for some competitions in the future.
Well, there we go, the new Berry Bowling Club, installed by Berry Bowling Systems. It's a whole Berry thing going out there on in the Riverland. And I can tell you, having started my bowls out in the Riverland, any shade you can get is a fantastic thing. And great facilities.
Yeah.
Everyone can get involved.
Be good to see in summer if it is that 10 degrees cooler like they suggest. So
Well,
yeah.
And anywhere you can get through the year and winter, you can get in and get some bowls in. It's only going to be a good thing for the club.
Good thing that clubs are getting facilities that can be used by non-bowling groups, the commercial kitchen, 24-hour bowls. I'd like to see what comes out of that at 2 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday night.
Especially after you've spent the last 3 or 4 hours in the clubhouse.
Yeah, that'd be
Would be very
fantastic. Yeah, we might go up for another session.
Yeah.
What else have we got, guys?
Well, since we've been out and about, we caught up with David Newble, the Professor of Medical Education at Flinders University.
That sounds fascinating. What's he got to talk to us about?
Well, he's going to be talking to us about sports science and how we can use that to improve our game. So we're looking forward to it. I spent about an hour with him talking. We're not going to show you that whole hour, of course, Michael, but we've got the magic of the producers to give you something to view.
Oh, the magic editing box.
Absolutely.
Makes everyone look fantastic.
I'm joined here with David Newble. David is the Professor of Medical Education at Flinders University, Professor of Medical Education at the University of Sheffield, UK, and previously Associate Professor of Medicine at University of Adelaide. We're joined here with David, as I said, at his home club where he's assistant coach. But instead of me talking about David, tell me about yourself.
For many, many years I was a physician, academic physician at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. But as one of my sidelines, I got interested in sports medicine and sports science, largely through my children taking up swimming. So rather than sitting on the sidelines, I became a coach and got involved at a relatively high level in swimming, acting as a scientific advisor to the state swimming coach. And I suppose the highlight of my career was aiding a top South Australian swimmer at the time called Glenn Berringen, who went on to get a silver medal in the Olympics.
So we're obviously here today to talk about sports science. How do you see sports science assisting the lawn bowler?
Well, it's an interesting question because I took up bowls relatively recently, only 5 years ago, and was very quickly surprised that there seemed to be very little input of sports science into bowls. And I think most people who are involved in sport would realise that with the advent of sports institutes, Australian Institute of Sport, that sports science made a huge contribution to improving the performance of athletes in just about any sport. But why not bowls? If coaches and players haven't been exposed to sports scientists, and coaches haven't had the advantage of having an input of sports sciences into their programs, well, maybe they don't know about it.
Well, there was a brief discussion around this that involved testing and so forth. So, you've got a bowler that is in the state side, say for instance, and we want to look at improving and individualising a training package. There may be something there that's off with the bowler. So you would suggest that we send this bowler off to get some testing. You want to talk us through what your expectation would be if we were to advance down this track?
Yeah, well, to me, it's a relatively simple process. It's a bit like going to your doctor for a checkup. I mean, you go along, you have a chat to the doctor, he does a physical examination, he sends you off for a range of tests. You get the results, the doctor's made a diagnosis, and then he's going to go and order a treatment program. But it's a treatment program that's individualised for you based on the results of those tests. One aspect of sports science is to try and make a diagnosis of the strengths and weaknesses of individual players. Then you talk to the player, then you talk to the coach, and they set up a specific training program to particularly work on the weaknesses. It's a well-known psychological fact that if you leave players in any sport to practice on their own, they tend to spend more time practicing the things that they're good at than practicing the things that they're not so good at, because either they're not interested in it or they don't even know that they've got that particular area of weakness.
So we've got the individual training package, we've got an evaluation set in place. So how would we establish that we've really been successful in this area? Because we can have someone say, well, we've really ticked the boxes because they went off, they've won a gold medal or a silver medal, our package has been successful. How would you rate that against other bowlers that aren't at that same level?
Well, I think you have to look at elite sportsmen in general. Whether you sort of get an Olympic gold medal or just an also run often amounts to very little more than 1% in performance. Yep. So when you're at the elite level, you're looking for marginal improvements. I think the best example of this is in golf with Tiger Woods in his heyday. Even when he was the top golfer, he was looking for improvement, and he discussed his game with the coach, and he decided that putting was the one area where he could get that 1%. And he took a risk. He decided that he would change his putting technique in order to give him the potential advantage of getting that 1%. And it took him 6 months to do that, hundreds of hours of practice just to get that. And that seems to be a common feature of people who are interested in high performance. They're willing to take a risk to get better. If you do it and no one else is doing it, you've already gotten a competitive advantage. Bowls is, to me, is much simpler than almost any other sport, because it's very easy to develop a specific test for bowling performance. Several years ago, I got the data from the Australian squad on all the tests that they were doing. And just looking at that data, just the simplest eyeball of the data showed that there was a significant difference between the performance of the top 5 bowlers and the rest. The top 5 bowlers, just looking at what their performance was on long ends versus short ends on the 40-bowl tests, there was no difference in their performance on short ends and long ends, right? All the rest, they were significantly worse on long ends than short ends. There's a very simple message for that. You've got to practice more on long ends. Yep. You don't want to get into your head that you're better at short ends than long ends. You want to say, I don't care what the state of the green is, what the weather's like, who I'm playing against. I've got the skills and competence to perform at my best.
Thanks very much for joining us here today, David. It's been an absolute pleasure. And look, I think what we could do here, is it being such a great subject, is we can get people jump on board the Bowls Exposed Facebook page, leave some comments, and I'd love to get you back in, David, to talk through what some of our viewing audience and their thoughts are about this sort of stuff. Mate, would you love to come back and we can talk through that?
Yep, no, I'd be happy to do that.
Well, mate, thank you very much for joining us today, and thank you very much for watching.
Oh, what a great interview you did there, TJ, with David. Some
done.
interesting facts coming out on how lawn bowlers can improve their fitness in the game.
Yeah, look, we spent, as I said earlier, spent a bit of time talking about it. So it'd be interesting to see in the future if, from a state perspective, and we know from a national perspective that they do have a little bit of this, to see if the states do pick that up and run with it.
Yeah, it'd be good.
And for your average bowler too, I can imagine they could take bits of that for their game. Obviously, you're not going to commit as much as an Australian squad member, but you might be able to grab bits from it that help you in your game throughout the season.
One of the pertinent things that we spoke about in there, if those were watching, was that someone goes out there on their own and they train out on a green. You train for what you know.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can't train for what you don't know, so you can only improve on the skills that you already got, and you're trying to hone those, and it's not improving your game other than just enhancing what you've already got. So it'd be interesting to see where that all heads.
Yeah. It's got to be good.
Well, it does. Look, the other interesting thing is we've got our Facebook page,
Yes.
the Bowls Exposed Facebook page, and we've had a bit of media floating through that, and we've got some written down here. Chris Gell, did the Berry Club make the show? Well, I think that we've probably answered that already in the
Yeah,
show.
I think we
say
have,
yes
yes.
to that.
I reckon we
Yes.
could
tick that one off.
We can
Yep.
tick that one
Yes.
off.
Yep.
And Ben Grotengood, love bowling at country clubs, always friendly and always a great game. The volunteers are a credit.
That is true.
Another entertaining show. Looking forward to next year. Keep it up, guys. And Ben, of course, is from the Brighton Bowling Club.
there you
Bowls in
go.
the Major League South side. So thanks very much, Ben. Played against him before Christmas, funny enough.
Yes. So your friend Stephen here messaged you that week that you were away over in Perth. So
Absolutely. You must have missed me, the
he
big
must
fella.
have missed you, yeah.
He's the president of the fan club, I believe, too, which has just been established.
Holds membership. Stephen Lunt holds membership number 1. There is no membership 2.
No, 1 through 50. Neville Jenke wished he'd seen us when we were in the Riverland. Well, we did go up to the Riverland, but we weren't making a big deal of it. It was a bit of a function, but you've put the idea in our head, and our producer over in the corner here has gone, right.
Road trip.
We need to let everyone know we're coming. It'll be like sunrise on location.
And of course, Ian Miller. Great show again. Reece Taylor, TJ and Jess Alvaro. Was great to see Wayne Turley interview and how positive he is about things. Love the John Bevan McLaren Vale piece as well. And it was actually good to spend some time with JB down at McLaren Vale Bowling Club and get to know the club down there. So thank you very much, Ian Miller.
And feel free to send in more comments to us. If you would like your club featured like we did McLaren Vale, let us know and we'll see what we can do.
Yep.
We'll come down and feature your club.
Absolutely. Sow the seed and we'll see how far we can tee off. Fiji, very lovely bowling establishment there.
I've heard there's some great bowling in Malaysia, India, South Africa,
Hong Kong.
Yeah, for sure. Why not?
Vanuatu.
Yep. We'll do a cross section of greens around the world. There's an idea.
There is, and Jamaica.
Write
Just
that
heard
down.
that Jamaica's got their first lawn bowling club, so
Oh,
be
fantastic.
a good place to go.
Okay, there we go. In typical lawn bowls fashion, that gets stretched into how big was my fish. Look, hey, coming up now, we were actually going to spend some time with Tony Wemmer from the Edwardstown Bowling Club and find out what great things are happening at Edwardstown.
Certainly. Should we get on to that?
I think we should.
Let's do it.
Beautiful.
So, Tony, we're here at the Edwardstown Bowling Club. You're the secretary of the club.
I am, yeah.
And you're going to talk us through some of the interesting redevelopment ideas that are about to happen here at Edwardstown, mate. What's about to crack-a-lack here at the club?
Yeah, certainly as part of the Marion Council redevelopment plan for this club, the decision by the elected members of the council was agreed on the 8th of December to go for a brand new building encompassing the bowls club and the football club. There probably is about a 6-month consultative period before we know whether we are getting that grant.
And who are you applying to this?
It's to the federal
The
government.
federal government.
Yeah,
to
so
do this.
so the submission that went to council in December is costing around about 8.4 million.
Being part of a combined sporting complex, obviously you serve a lot more, a greater majority of the public in that sense. That
Yeah,
you'd
that's
hope
right.
that
and
would go
and
a
it's
long
hoped
way.
that the new building and everything will get greater community participation. We've got the bowls club, football club, cricket club. We have the community hall who have various activities run through the hall. So the idea is to bring it all into one brand new building and hopefully by addressing this socio-economic need it will attract more community members into the club, which hopefully builds the bowls club cricket club and the football club.
That's great.
Well, you know, the interesting thing is, as Tony, is we're always talking about bowlers introducing people into the game. A young lad bowling here, and I've met this young lad, lovely lad, leads for David Tholburn actually, isn't he? Young Ben Neal.
Yeah. Well, this year we've actually got a couple of youngsters. Ben turned 12 at the start of the season. We've got another lad, Jonathan Nelson, he's 13, and another lad that's studying at uni, he's 19, he's just turned 20, Eddie Stacey. So we've got some young lads here, but the biggest thing that we like is that young Ben, he started bowling with his dad in a night house team last year. He and his dad came out to practice on Tuesdays, and Dave said if he comes to this club this year, which he's done, young Ben will be leading for him in the top side.
Right.
He's a 12-year-old lad, head down, bum up, he does the job.
For a small club like most clubs, let's face it, are small, we're not huge institutions bowling clubs, but that's overall that sounds like a really positive step forward. You're getting your investment, backing by the council into new facilities, young bowlers coming through, getting great guidance and coaching by some, you know, exceptionally experienced bowlers.
Yeah.
That all round, that's a really positive vibe for the club, I'd think. So
We're looking forward to the rest of the season with a great degree of excitement.
Well, there you have it.
fantastic.
Well, that's so exciting. Mate, just quickly before we go to break, Tony, bit of a footballer here.
Oh yes, I played a few games.
Mate, I got told 401 games for the same club.
Yeah, I played for Sacred Heart Old Scholars in Amateur League.
That's what the news is there on the piece of paper, mate.
Still the record holder.
Still the record holder.
Fantastic. No, well, I was. The irony of this is, for the bulk of my career, I wore 42. It took me 21 playing years to make the record, and I held the record for 21 years. One bloke passed it a couple of seasons ago. The beauty of that is when we hold a 400 club meeting, I'm not in a phone box by myself.
Fantastic. You got someone to share the nibbles with.
Yeah,
great.
He can do the work.
He can bring the nibbles this time. Well, Tony, look, thanks very much, and look, mate, thanks very much for allowing us to film here today. And it's great to see that Edwardstown is really looking forward to a bright future.
Thanks, TJ.
No
Good luck. Thank you.
Cheers.
Hi everyone, coming up in the next couple of episodes we've got a lot of things for you. This week in Adelaide we've got the Under 18 SA Vic series, and we're going to be heading down to the greens to catch up with a couple of the bowlers, get a bit of action. Great place to see the next generation of elite bowlers coming through. Can't wait to see what sort of results we get out of that. A little bit parochial, go SA. What else have we got, guys?
Talking about elite bowlers, we've got Brett Wilkie on Skype for New Zealand, Australian bowler over there at the moment.
Yes, and we're going to catch up with Kerry Treloar from the Berry Bowling Club, and she's going to talk about her mother, the very decorated Audrey Hefford, who just recently got inducted into the Australian Hall of Fame.
Well, there you have it. So lots to come up with in the upcoming series of Bowls Exposed for the rest of this season. Look, Bowls Exposed, as we say, and I say it every single week, jump on our YouTube channel.
Yep.
Bowls Exposed Facebook page. We're starting to get some action in there, so keep it coming. We do have actually some comments coming through at the moment, which I know that Glenn has posted on there about bowls, wanting to know about which is the better bowl.
There's always a debate about the Ford and Holden of the bowls world. What's better, Henselite, Aero, Drake's Pride, if you're into that sort of thing.
Yeah, the Green Masters.
So we might have a bit of a look into that in the next couple of weeks. Send us some suggestions if you've got any ideas what exactly you'd like us to talk about and investigate.
Well, you know, and hey, we might even get someone that's got some skill, unlike myself. Maybe Reese, we can bring Reese back.
Yes.
A couple of weeks and get him out there to show us how to bowl, considering he's told me numerous times through the show that I can't. He might be right, you never know. But look, until we get him out there in the green, thanks very much for watching us today, and we'll see you next time.
See you later.